20-month-old Quinton Simon disappeared from his home in Savannah, Georgia on the morning of Wednesday, October 5, 2022. His mother, 22-year-old Leilani Simon, has been named by police as the primary and only suspect in her son's disappearance. Amid rising tensions within the community, Leilani and her mother spoke with a local news station.
That goes by is less tears and more anger, not knowing what's happening, if that's even understandable. You wake up every day angry, hoping that you're going to get a phone call, and that phone call just doesn't come. Great to come out of this, but mostly we want him not to be found in that landfill. We want him found happy and alive. We want him back in our arms, holding us. That's what we want. We're just hoping that he's in somebody's house and they're feeding him, and they are hoping that, maybe they wanted a baby or couldn't have a baby. Maybe they thought they were his savior. But it's not. That's their best hopes at this point. And if something does come up that I am at fault, I will take myself to that police station.
According to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, an estimated 460,000 children are reported missing in the United States each year. This is the story of 20-month-old Quinton Simon and the great lengths our society goes to preserve innocent life. Leilani Simon is a 22-year-old resident of Savannah, Georgia. She shared a home with her 3 children, her boyfriend, her mother, Billy Joe Howell, and her stepfather, Thomas Howell, who owns the house. Leilani attended New Hampstead High School, which ranked in the 25th percentile nationally and statewide, according to the U.S. News & World Report. There is no history of post-secondary education. She has 3 children, including a 3-year-old boy born in 2019, a 20-month-old boy born in 2021, and an infant daughter born in 2022. The 3 children have separate biological fathers. Leilani's young adult life has been marked by convictions for felony larceny, trespassing, as well as intermittent substance abuse. Her problems affected her parental fitness, and in July 2021, Leilani's mother was awarded custody of the 2 boys. By November of 2021, Leilani had relocated to Dunn, North Carolina, and was employed at a local convenience store. However, she did not leave behind her habit of poor decision-making. She was convicted of felony larceny after she stole $20 worth of goods from her employer. In North Carolina, you can be charged with a Class H felony for stealing any amount of goods from your employer. She was sentenced to 12 months probation and 48 hours of community service. At some point in 2022, a pregnant Leilani returned to Savannah to live with her mother. Soon after, she gave birth to her 3rd child, a daughter. Miss Howell's household, which was previously made up of 2 children and 2 adults, now included the Howells, 2 toddlers, an infant, Leilani, and her boyfriend. The crowded living conditions exacerbated the already rising tensions between Leilani and her mother. Over time, Miss Howell became frustrated with what she perceived as her adult daughter's irresponsibility and lack of willingness to assist. But even Miss Howell could not anticipate just how stormy the situation would become. On September 7, 2022 at 4:07 p.m., Chatham County Police were called to a domestic disturbance at Buckhalter Road between mother and daughter. Officers first spoke with Leilani as she was the one who called. She told police she and her mother had a dispute over clothing in the washing machine. She said that led to a verbal altercation over how things were, referring to living conditions and other matters. Then, the dispute became physical. According to Leilani, her mother got in her face and shoved her into a wall. Leilani claimed her elbow was reddened as a result. However, officers did not observe any signs of bruising. Leilani mentioned that she was on probation. She said she called 911 in order to prevent the conflict from escalating further. She said she did not wish to press charges against her mother. Officers then spoke with Miss Howell. She corroborated the dispute over the washing machine and added that she has been frustrated over the responsibility that has been thrust upon her. She stated that she works, takes care of the household, pays all the bills, and essentially supports Leilani, her boyfriend, and her grandchildren. Miss Howell conceded that she did push Leilani, but only in defense after Leilani yelled and got in her face. Eventually, Miss Howell's son arrived to take her back to his place. Miss Howell was overheard stating that she may have to evict Leilani and her boyfriend. Before leaving, Miss Howell's son told the officer that his mother was tired of the conflict and that Leilani had a very long history of stealing from her mother to buy drugs. The next day, on September 8th, Miss Howell filed a petition in the Magistrate Court of Chatham County to have Leilani and her boyfriend evicted from her home. The court document alleges, "They have damaged my property, and at this point, no one is living in peace," and she wanted them removed as soon as possible. Shortly after, she headed to Illinois on a 3-week work assignment but expected to return home before her daughter moved out. The week of September 25th to October 1st was challenging for Leilani. The realities of adult life, its financial obligations, and legal consequences came crashing down upon her. First, she received notice that the family court had entered a default judgment against her. As a result, she was required to pay her mother $150 monthly in child support. The payments were to begin on November 1st. Then, around the same time, Leilani received the eviction notice. She was essentially destitute and under extreme financial pressure without her mother's support. On Wednesday, October 5th, just days after receiving the eviction notice, Leilani's babysitter received a text message at 5:30 a.m. from Leilani's boyfriend. The message said she would not be needed to look after the kids. She found the message surprising as she usually watched the kids on weekdays from around 6 a.m. until 3:30 p.m. Mondays through Fridays. At 9 a.m., the babysitter received a second text message from Leilani's boyfriend. This one said, "Hey, have you seen Quinton?" She responded that she hadn't and then immediately headed to the house to help search. However, when she arrived at the house, she was told her help was not needed. She called Miss Howell, and that's how Miss Howell learned of Quinton's disappearance. At 9:39 a.m., 20-month-old Quinton is reported missing by his mother. Quinton was last seen in his playpen by Leilani's boyfriend around 6 a.m. at the Buckhalter Road home. Leilani initially told authorities she woke up, her door was open, and she thinks someone came in and took him or he wandered off. Then she pointed the finger at Quinton's biological father, stating that perhaps he came by unannounced to collect his son. The search for the missing toddler began immediately. Chatham County Police, Savannah Police Mounted Patrol, the FBI, a K-9 team, and a mosquito control helicopter participated in the search. It would become the most extensive search in the history of the Chatham County Police Department. Police said there was no immediate evidence of foul play. They considered it a missing persons case and hoped to find Quinton alive. Georgia's Amber Alert system was not activated as there were no signs of abduction, according to police. Police spoke with the biological father, and he was cleared of any involvement. During interviews, several neighbors stated that they had seen Quinton outside the house and wandering the street in the past. When asked who was inside the home when Quinton went missing, Mr. Howell stated, "My stepdaughter Leilani, her boyfriend, 3 kids, and her brother Paul." Mr. Howell said the idea that Quinton wandered off is baffling. "I've never seen him open a door," Howell said. "The oldest one has opened the door and came out, but Quinton never opened the door, so, that's what's crazy about everything." An open records request was made for the 911 audio and body cam footage, but was denied by the Chatham County District Attorney's Office as the investigation is still ongoing. However, they did release portions of the police dispatch recording.
We have a signal 56 complaint about her 1-year-old son is missing. She woke up, her door was open, but as he's unable to open the door, I think someone came in and took him.
On October the 10th, for the first time, police stated they were looking into the possibility of a criminal aspect to Quinton's disappearance. Police and the FBI searched the house again and drained the backyard pool. Meanwhile, Quinton's babysitter told WSAV-TV that she had previously reported the family to Georgia's Division of Family and Children's Services with concerns, but this could not be confirmed for privacy reasons. Later in the evening, the Chatham County Police announced, "We've seized evidence that we believe will help move this case forward, and we're now working to analyze the evidence to see where it leads us. We will continue to pursue all avenues to bring Quinton home, following all leads and evidence." 1 week into the search for Quinton, the Chatham County Police Department tweeted the following statement: "We are saddened to report that the Chatham County Police Department and the FBI have notified Quinton Simon's family that we believe he is deceased. We have named his mother, Leilani Simon, as the primary suspect in his disappearance and death, but no arrests have been made and no charges have been filed. Officials did not state at this time why they believed Quinton was dead or why Leilani was the main person of interest." 6 days later, on October 18th, Chatham County Police and the FBI announced that they believed the missing toddler was placed in a dumpster and, from there, transported to a local landfill. A massive search of the landfill was initiated. Surprisingly, just hours after the first day of the landfill search ended, Leilani and her mother were spotted at a popular bar on Tybee Island enjoying alcoholic beverages. Witnesses said they drank tequila shots and ran up a tab of over $300 at Stingray's seafood restaurant. One server also told the New York Post that Leilani and her mother stayed at the bar for hours, despite patrons complaining about them drinking in public during an ongoing investigation into Quinton's likely death. The server added, "They were having a great time, like they didn't have a care in the world. They were drinking Patron shots in the deck area, being loud and laughing. It's almost like they were trying to draw attention to themselves." WJCL-TV reported that police were called to a Tybee motel on more than one occasion after protesters learned Quinton's family members were staying there. On October 21st, police arrested multiple people who had been protesting outside the Howells residence. The protesters were heckling the family and taking actions such as blocking the driveway with their vehicles, playing loud music, and pounding on the house's doors and windows. Some were even live streaming their efforts on social media. Leilani told a news station that the family has had to barricade themselves inside the house for fear of the hecklers. After community complaints led to more than 50 visits to the house by local police, a no loitering ordinance was enforced, and protesters were required to obtain a permit beforehand. With tensions rising amid growing community pressure for answers about Quinton's whereabouts, Leilani made her first media appearance, speaking with WTOC-TV.
"I'm here. I've been here every day since this. I am not running and I'm not hiding. And if something does come up that I am at fault, I will take myself to that police station. Every day that goes by is less tears and more anger, not knowing what's happening, if that's even understandable. You wake up every day angry, hoping that you're going to get a phone call, and that phone call just doesn't come. We want something great to come out of this, but mostly we want him not to be found in that landfill. We want him found happy and alive. We want him back in our arms, holding us. That's what we want. We're just hoping that he's in somebody's house and they're feeding him, and they are hoping that, maybe they wanted a baby or couldn't have a baby. Maybe they thought they were his savior. But it's not. That's their best hopes at this point.
On November 3rd, deputies arrived on the 9900 block of Highway 23 in response to a call for an unconscious pedestrian. On arrival, they found the body of Quinton's paternal grandfather, Henry Moss Sr., lying in the road. According to police, Mr. Moss's vehicle sustained a flat tire, causing him to pull over to the side of the road. He was then struck and killed by another car. The driver fled the scene, and authorities opened an investigation. On November 18th, 1 month after the search began at the Southwest Chatham County landfill, investigators discovered what they believed to be human remains. The remains were subsequently confirmed as human by the FBI lab at Quantico. 3 days later, the Chatham County Police Department held a special news conference.
Good evening, everybody. Jeff Hadley. I'm the Chief of Police for the Chatham County Police Department. I'm accompanied this evening by Will Clark with the Federal Bureau of Investigation. This afternoon, Chatham County Police Department detectives arrested 22-year-old Leilani Simon and charged her with malice murder, concealing the death of another person, false reporting, and making false statements in connection with the disappearance and death of her son, 20-month-old Quinton Simon. Leilani Simon is being held at the Chatham County Detention Center and is awaiting a bond hearing. We do not anticipate any other arrests in this case. She has been the sole suspect from the beginning. On Friday, our search teams at the Waste Management landfill found what they believed were human remains. This afternoon, the FBI lab in Quantico, Virginia confirmed that they are, in fact, human remains. Additional testing, including a DNA analysis, is being conducted, and we have every reason to believe that this will confirm the remains are Quinton's. This is a heartbreaking development for everyone who loved Quinton, for the many people who came to know him after his disappearance, and for our department. When we first received the call that Quinton was missing, we were hopeful that we would find him alive and unharmed. But as we have been telling you for weeks, all of our evidence pointed to his mother being responsible for his death and disappearance, and his remains being found in the landfill. We appreciate those who kept faith in the system and waited patiently for evidence we needed to make sure Quinton has every opportunity to receive the justice he deserves. At this point, I'd like to turn it over to Will Clark, who has some comments from the FBI.
Good evening. My name is Will Clark. I'm the Senior Supervisory Resident Agent of the Savannah and Brunswick offices of the FBI. 1 month ago, we began this landfill search alongside Chatham County Police Department with one purpose in mind, and that was to find Quinton and to bring him home. On Friday, search crews from the FBI and Chatham County found what we preliminarily believe are partial remains from a human child. Those bones were immediately sent to our lab in Quantico, Virginia. Additional testing for potential confirmation is now underway. It could be days before we have final results. What happened to this 20-month-old child is unthinkable. No child should be harmed by anyone, let alone the person in their lives that should be their protector. This investigation does not end here. There is more work to do. The FBI, along with our law enforcement partners, will continue to find justice for Quinton. Thank you.
Thank you, Will. Appreciate that. And we'll try to answer some questions that you may have. Just be mindful that there's many we may not be able to answer, but we'll be willing to take some questions at this time.
You charged Leilani with murder. You guys found bones in the landfill? Is that?
We found human remains, yes, ma'am.
Chief, do you believe the point that
Quinton was put in that dumpster, do you believe that he was alive then or had died before he was in the dumpster and then made it to the landfill?
Could you, I didn't hear the first part, I'm sorry.
Do you believe that Quinton Simon was alive when he was in the landfill? Do you believe he died before he was put in that dumpster?
I can't answer that question.
You've charged Leilani with murder. Can you speak on whether you think it was accidental or intentional?
I can't speak to that.
Can you talk a little bit about what evidence you all confirmed or learned on Friday led you all to go ahead and make that arrest specifically for today versus earlier on?
Well, as we had said from the beginning with the landfill, we had every belief that Quinton was there in the landfill. Having found what we found on Friday and the preliminary findings from the FBI that we got today led us to make an arrest today. We feel that we have a very strong case. We have put thousands of hours into this, and we believed that this was the right move today to be able to do that. She doesn't deserve a Thanksgiving, quite frankly, if I can go off script a little bit. Quinton deserves that.
You said that you didn't believe any other arrests would be made. Are you guys looking into Billy Joe at all?
We are not.
And so you, just to confirm and kind of clarify that you all were looking to find some sort of remains from the body to go ahead and move forward with the arrest.
That's correct.
Chief, would the charges have been the same in this case had you not made that discovery on Friday? Say if this case had continued, if the search found nothing in the landfill, would you still have been able to make a case for Quinton to have justice, or how significant was this find?
Well, it was very significant, obviously, for obvious reasons. We do believe we had a strong case otherwise, but that would have been in counsel with the Chatham County District Attorney's Office, but we believe we had a strong case otherwise.
Leilani Simon pleaded not guilty to all charges and is held in protective custody at the Chatham County Detention Center. After her arrest, Leilani's mother gave an interview in which she explained how Leilani was apprehended. Leilani Simon's next hearing has been set for January 11, 2023. In cases like this, when we do not achieve the desired result, we must observe the extraordinary lengths our society goes to preserve human life. Law enforcement especially deserves recognition for their exceptional work in a highly sensitive case that garnered national attention. The investigation came at a tremendous sacrifice as officers routinely worked 18 to 20-hour shifts, and many missed special family functions or important personal moments hoping to find Quinton. Upon request, the FBI sent 40 officers to Chatham County, and they arrived within 3 hours to assist. Additionally, the Chatham County Board of Commissioners redirected $250,000 from a school zone camera fund to the police department to help cover the costs of the massive investigation. The Chatham County Police Department believes they have delivered a prosecutable case to the district attorney. With their work mostly done, it will now be up to the Georgia court system to obtain justice for Quinton Simon.